want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Roundtable. It's a roundtable of two today. What's going on, Amy?
Not much.
I know this is your busy time of the year.
It is.
Any workouts in?
I am. I was going to take a rest day today, and then my son said today's workout is a partner one. So, sorry. So we are going to go in and do the workout, and then I'm going to finish off with some more parent-teacher conferences and get ready for the weekend.
There you go.
Yeah.
How is the training going into the open?
It's going good. We've changed a lot of our programming to more in-house programming, which I'm a huge fan of, because I feel like with the program we were doing before, we were over volume and not as, I don't know, we were more so hyper focused on certain movements and missing a lot of variety. So I feel like there's a lot more variety and overall fitness that's happening now, and feeling good about that. So,
yeah, I've had a fundamental issue with paid for programming for a while, and not that like I get it. It's a huge lift off of the gym owner to do that. But 90% of us are not competitive athletes.
Right.
And there should be a fun aspect to this. Fitness should be fun.
Yep.
And I think that we at times have lost that along the way.
Mm-hmm. I was dreading certain days, or I'm not a cherry picker in general because I like to have overall fitness, but it was to the point where I was feeling like I don't need to do wall balls every Wednesday. Wall balls and burpees every Wednesday doesn't make sense to me when I haven't touched the GHD for 6 weeks, or I haven't done pistol squats or split jerks. I feel like those things need to be intermixed. You can definitely have some kind of goal and kind of strength cycle and all that, integrated in there, but also having a variety of movements, and it keeps it exciting.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I always applauded you as a coach is you found fun ways to warm up, mm-hmm. where it would be a game or a sport or whatever we were doing, anything to bring fun to fitness. Yeah. I think helps retention of athletes, makes athletes want to be there. And that is what the overall goal is, right?
Yeah, especially if you have athletes waking up to come work out at 5 a.m., you got to bring it as a coach. Or, I mean, if I was just there oh, guys, I'm so tired, I don't know how we're going to, that's not what you want to sign up for. You need somebody to bring the vibe.
I remember back to the early days when we shared our gym with the volleyball center, and we would play Hoover ball to warm up. And I love those days. Yeah. I loved playing Hoover ball.
Yeah.
And I miss that. I think that is just really, really awesome. Mm-hmm. One thing my gym did in January, and I don't know if I talked about it with you or with Kat, but we had blackout January.
Oh, you couldn't see what the workouts were?
Nope.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yep. They did not put them into Wodify until 8:00 at the end of the day of the day you did it.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
Yeah. It creates some anxiety with some people, but I mean, that was back how it used to be. You would show up and the coach would write it on the whiteboard and you were like, okay, that's what we're doing today. And then it started to be your friends would text you who were coming later, what's the workout today?
Yep.
You're I don't know. You have to wait till you see it on the whiteboard.
The one thing that was funny is my duffel bag or backpack got fuller. because when you don't know what's coming, well, I better pack my jump rope, better pack my wrist straps, better pack. And I've really cut down on like that extra equipment. But you have to have everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true.
Like, I haven't worn lifters in 7 or 8 years.
I only use them on certain movements. I used them recently on pistols because I hadn't done pistols for like 2 years. And we, started programming them in, and I, needed a little bit of extra support in order to be able to do them.
Yeah, pistols were never in my forte, so
so that
my file cabinet, so I don't have to worry about that. And I have enough ankle mobility for squatting that, like, even heavy lifts, like, and I try not to go super heavy anymore, but even heavy lifts, I just wear regular Metcons or whatever. So yeah. Well, cool. One thing I did want to clear up today. Not clear up. One thing I wanted to expand on is I've made some comments about the Annie comments from the Buttery Bros video over the last few days. That has garnered a lot of comments on YouTube and such. And all I was saying is that I just wanted to understand the why. Well, yesterday or this morning, Annie did share the why. And I know it's not about me. I'm just a puny guy in Ohio, but I'm going to share that real quick. She did share why she is not doing the open.
And this will be the first time I will not be partaking.
And we don't, it's a long video, but she essentially says that she has had experiences at the games where she has felt in danger and that they have always been there to save her.
She's always trusted it.
And then this last games, that didn't happen and changes needed to be made. And she goes through the changes that have happened with CrossFit, and she is taking a wait and see approach rather than believing that those are the things that will change the sport. They've had athlete councils in the past that did nothing. Now we have a new athlete council. Is this one going to have any input?
An in-house one that she is not a fan of.
Well, she doesn't say she's not a fan of it. She just, because she was part of the original athlete council.
She says it should be a third party.
Right. She does not go into any of the PFAA stuff in this.
Correct.
Video.
Correct.
But she does say that the last one didn't have any power. She wants to see how this one comes out. The safety council, she likes some of the people on it, but are they going to have say enough to make changes that she then can trust things to go forward? So I applaud her for doing this. She has 1.3 million followers. I believe that they deserve the right to know the why. She gave the why. I'm cool with everything now. It's her choice to do or do not do the open. And she doesn't owe us anything. This contingent that thinks because she's made all of her money doing CrossFit, she has to do it forever. No, she doesn't. She just followed the rules of the game. And she can do whatever she wants this year.
Well, and she does say that she supports her community. She supports CrossFit. She is not supporting HQ.
Yeah. So I think that is a delicate balance to say. But I hope that CrossFit does prove to her that these new things are going to be taken seriously and not just be a Band-Aid over a problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and myself included, might worry that people will just kind of move on and not keep, like kind of brushing it under, like, okay, well, that was over. Let's hopefully nobody brings anything up. Let's just keep moving forward. I think people do have a fear of that.
Yeah. The thing that at the end of the day, this is a sport. Things happen in sports. I mentioned last week that in my swimming podcast that I watch, Brooke Wells was on it, which was wild. But they've lost swimmers in events over the years that were world class and just got into a situation where they ended up drowning. And it's a sport. You have to move on. Things are going to happen in sport. Not to belittle what happened at the games last year at all, but if you look across the board at all sports, there's death everywhere. And those sports have not closed shop because of them. They keep moving forward. They usually honor the person and do that. But what upset me most about the whole thing is the amount of people that wanted me to stop saying anything about it. I think on this podcast, we have promoted that no matter what your viewpoint is, you have a place to say it. We pull up comments, whether we agree with them or not. And I like having open discussion. I think as adults, that's what makes the world go round, is that not everybody is going to believe everything at the same time, in the same way, and that we can have adult conversations about that. And I know some of my friends do not agree with the way I'm looking at this situation, and it's okay. They're still my friends, and I would love to talk to them about it and understand their viewpoint better. That's all.
Yeah.
And to say in a comment that I need to stop bringing it up. It's a podcast. That's what we do. It's kind of the format.
Yeah.
You know,
it's kind of the goal is to talk about stuff that's happening.
Right. Corey Leonard says maybe adult beverages as well. Yeah. I have really cut out those in my life for the most part. But sure, I encourage it if that's something you like to do. See, we can disagree and still get along.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. She said she has respect for some of the people on the council. I hope she meant that because there are some that she doesn't know. That just stuck out to me. I will go with that benefit of the doubt as well. The other thing I wanted to talk about is kind of in that same vein, with everything that's happened and the low turnout for the Open thus far. Do you think we have hit a point where CrossFit is in jeopardy of going away or becoming even more niche than it was before?
Do I think CrossFit is in danger of going away?
Yeah.
The games, like the sport? Or you mean?
The sport. I don't think the methodology is going anywhere.
No, I don't think so either. I don't know. I kind of do. I kind of do think it's going away. In some sense. I know we've talked about this before, like with all the High Rocks stuff. High Rocks is an event. I think it's an event that CrossFit athletes can attend as well as other, endurance athletes and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, I love the sport of CrossFit, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's a sport I love and I hate, but I think the division right now is not helping. And the more divided in a niche sport you become, the more likely the sport could be. And I don't think it'll ever go away, but I think it will. The idea of making $300,000 at the games will not be in the future. I think it's going to be like ESPN the Ocho on with cornhole and darts and prize purse maybe in the 30,000 range instead of $300,000 range. So that's my biggest fear.
I did laugh at the Instagram reel that James Sprague made Did you see it about hello from the other side?
I did not see that. No.
Okay, so it was the Adele song like hello from the other side, and he's just turning his bracelet and it says High Rocks on it. Like, sorry, But then he made it to the Worlds.
He did.
Yeah. So
The kid is getting really, really fit.
he is. He's not even a kid anymore. I know we want to call him that, but
CrossFit says coming up after bowling, the fittest man competes in Springfield, Illinois. I think that is possible for sure.
The other CrossFit thing of note, I think, to bring up is that Laura and Adler signed for the World Fitness Project.
They did. Let me get this one comment and then we'll talk about that. For me, CrossFit was never a sport. The fact that media has moved away from the affiliates over the years was a shame, but it's made the affiliates independent from the games. Now only the game suffers. Yeah. Yeah. To me, anything's a sport. Like when I was playing lawn jorts as a kid, I made it a sport. Like
A competition.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I think it's just semantics of whether we call it a sport or not. But yeah, I think that the media has played a major role. When the media team was let go, there was no plan B, and affiliates didn't get any love, athletes didn't get any love, and yeah, crazy. Corey Leonard, turns out the spray guy is pretty fit. Who knew? Yeah. So WFP signed their final athletes and closed their rosters. Laura was the final female. Jeff Adler was the final male. But for Adler to fit, Saxon Panchek took a different role with the company. So he is now working for the company and not being an athlete. So that it's going to be interesting to know what that means.
I mean,
and used to televise stuff, polo, lawn darts. Yeah, you know it.
But I mean, Panchek and Will, that doesn't surprise me. Panchek and Will were training together. They were training buddies. They've spent a lot of time together. So that I'm not totally shocked by that.
Isn't Saxon also on the athlete council for CrossFit? That is a misnomer. I know that was reported on Dense Updates. Spencer Panchek is on the athlete council. Saxon is not. So Spencer's on the athlete council. Saxon is on the WFP leadership, whatever he's doing there. So
Yes,
too many Pancheks.
a lot of Pancheks.
And two of them look the same.
Yep, identical, in fact.
Yeah. So it does make it confusing. So now that my project's over, I would actually intend to reach out to Saxon and have him on and talk about that. Might even have Spencer on too to talk about the athlete council. They've had their first meeting. So it'll be interesting to see that. And hopefully not everybody's confused.
They did. They fell off a cliff.
And they fell off a mountain in John Young's mountain. They did fall off a cliff in a mountain when they were young. And John Young hates Saxon Panchek. Him and I have been going back and forth on this forever.
For real?
Well, I said that Saxon Panchek would do well at one of the semifinals. And he went off on me about saying that there's no chance. So there's been this like back and forth about Saxon Panchek with John.
Okay.
Me being in Saxon's corner and him not.
Got it.
So yeah, so I think the biggest news out of the WFP is no Tia.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder, her and Will also train together, right?
Yeah, but Will left them a year prior to
Right.
us.
Right. So I wonder if there's some bad taste there.
I almost wonder, is it going to be like Broken Skull Ranch? Like, if you're the champ, you just wait till the end of the year, and then whoever wins the finals gets to take Tia on one-on-one.
I mean, that would be something. Male or female, just whoever it is takes.
He just sits on a throne during the finals, and when it's all done, you win, you get to go take on Tia.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. Isn't Tia focused on High Rocks? I have no idea. I know she did a High Rocks dual event with James Newberry in Australia, but I have no idea.
And we saw that Sammy, which I didn't know was having another baby, she also just did High Rocks.
I think a lot of people are doing them.
Yeah.
I don't think that means they're switching over to it.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed for sure.
Will left when Brooke busted her feet, and Saxon busted his feet, or whatever, and wonder if they harbor any resentment. I don't know, because Will and Brooke and Saxon are tight.
Yeah.
All three of them.
Where's Brooke now, though? I forget.
She's HWPO, but
Okay.
she's also working out with JR Howell at CrossFit Crash.
Okay.
But he says he's not her coach. But he says that about Jason Hopper, which he has been his coach. So who knows?
Got it. Okay.
But what was interesting on that podcast, that swimming podcast, is Brooke is like pretty much saying, I'm at the end of my career and I just want to have fun now. Like, I don't want to put all the pressure on myself to
JRPO.
at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
D. Reed says there are two issues: HQ inability to be consistent and unlikable nature of number of athletes. I'll go with you big time on the first one. I think HQ's inability to be consistent with a season that is understandable and able to follow and tell your friends about has been a major component to CrossFit not growing more. I don't know about the athlete thing. And maybe that's because I've met a lot of them in person, and I think a lot of them are super nice and very cordial. There are a few that I do not think that about, but I'll reserve that to my own mind. But most of them, the majority of the athletes, are very friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Athletes really struggle to seem approachable lately or relatable. I really don't. I don't see. Maybe that's their Instagram look or their documentary look. I don't know. Like, they've all been very approachable to me the whole time we've been doing this media thing. We've interacted with athletes at the games, at semifinals, pretty much wherever they are.
Yeah.
And most of them do not come across entitled. I am not saying that is 100%. There are some that definitely do come across entitled. But most of them are very just appreciative of everything and the fans and everyone. I may be media, but I am not big media. Nobody really cares about me. And I do get to see them backstage where I was a volunteer for many years before that, where you get to see them and how they act in their natural environment.
I wouldn't say it's their natural environment. That's a competitive environment.
Okay.
But
Fair.
I know what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, if we ran into them at a hotel after the games or something, I think those are the moments. Like I know Kat has talked about, going to the airport and talking with a lot of athletes there, like after the games, and how personable and talkative and things like that they were, without her talking about being anything as far as media, but just as a fellow CrossFit athlete.
Well, and we know there ain't no Yonakoski like a drunk Yonakoski.
I mean, that is true. I mean, he is a good time.
After the games, when it's all he's letting it loose.
Yeah.
Drunk Yonakoski is the best Yonakoski.
Yeah.
Andrew Sten, I agree with Scott. Most are very approachable, but some aren't. But you also have to look at the setting and what is happening at that moment.
Yep.
And it's very different if you go to Crash or Metcon Rush and see them there, as opposed to fighting for a game spot at the Syndicate Crown or at the games. It's different at the semifinal on Friday than it is on Sunday. It just is. I ran into Emma Lawson at the Austin airport, often Rogue airport.
I'm just wearing Rogue, and she
approached me because I was wearing a Rogue hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Rogue, I bet.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And my favorite group of athletes, the Masters, they're all approachable, except for like one or two of them. They're willing to hang out right after an event, all sweaty and whatever. Like they're just looking for the love.
For sure. Well, and also, I mean, most of the Masters athletes are not doing this as their career. They have a career and I think that makes them more relatable to us too. So.
CrossFit, I'll approach a Masters muscle mommy any day.
Yeah.
Joke.
Not really a joke.
No, what these Masters athletes do it, like with everything going on and man, their physiques are freaking phenomenal. It is amazing what they do later in life. I look up to them so much.
For sure.
But yeah. So we have that. We have World Fitness Project. It's going to be interesting to see if there's like any fans, how the fans come out to the in-person semis, how the fans come out to the World Fitness Project, what that looks like at both places. I did talk to Wilson Pock yesterday after posting that their spectator seats coming out for Syndicate Crown are coming out soon.
Okay.
In Knoxville, they are doing a big community event outside like they did last year, where you can get a team together, compete that weekend. That competing in that event gets you a free ticket for the weekend.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's cool.
So it's a cool way, and you do it out on like the plaza. If you've never been to Knoxville, you enter at the top of the arena, and then you walk down to your seat. At the top where you come in, out before you come in, it's a big plaza, and they have a rig outside, and there's a big community event out there inside of Vendor Village.
That's really cool.
And they do an awesome job with that. So if you are interested in going to Knoxville, sign up for a team or get a spectator seat. And it's really cool because you are elevated above the floor, making it very easy to watch all the events. And it's probably going to be a lot cheaper than the Mayhem Classic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is going to be a boutique event where there's probably only going to be a few hundred people allowed to buy tickets. Mm-hmm. When I went down for the first Mayhem Classic, I think seats were reserved for 500 people, and it was about $500 tickets. It was the best comp I've ever been to, because of the way it was laid out, very easy to follow, but it is going to be a boutique event and very hard to get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where Knoxville will be very easy to get in, and they have a lot of stuff going on. So
Good luck to you, CrossFit. Scalp this ticket.
Yeah. The problem is when you scalp, you may have to pay more. Just saying. Neither have a phenomenal airport. That is true. If you go to Mayhem, you pretty much have to fly into Nashville.
Yes. That's true. But and then it's like 2 hours from there. Right?
I think an hour. And it's another hour and a half to Knoxville. Okay. So Mayhem's kind of in the middle of Nashville and Knoxville. But Knoxville's airport is not great. Not good prices.
Yeah.
But it's a great location, great arena, cool community event, cool vendor village. It'll be interesting to see. And Mayhem's like stacked, and only 2 people are getting their tickets to the games, which is going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's
the people they've already announced is insane.
When is it? Tell me, what month is it?
Mayhem is the first in-person semi, so it is in the beginning of April.
Okay.
The first weekend in April, I think. And then Knoxville is like late, is May, maybe later May. I'd have to look. I'm with Andrew. Glad I can drive to both. The bad thing about driving to Mayhem is Cookeville is not a straight line from Cincinnati. To go straight line, you have to go on 2-lane roads for most of the trip. Where Knoxville, you can go 75 the whole way, which isn't bad. So, but I'm most looking forward to the Masters games here in Columbus, where I'm holding a barbecue.
Woo!
We're going to have a party.
Yeah, party. All right.
A Buc-ee's on the way. Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
I haven't, but I know about them. And there was this kid at school the other day that had a little Buc-ee's keychain. And I was like, have you been to Buc-ee's before? And she's like, yes, I love it.
It is a miracle. Like, I don't even know how they exist. It is insanity. Julie and I went to one in Alabama, and every time I see one now, I'll go. It's like an amusement park in the middle of the freeway.
Yeah.
And the food is awesome. So with that, yes, it is sensory overload. Mm-hmm. With that, it is lunch hours over. We need to get back to work. So all you hooligans, get back to work. We'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Media Roundtable. Bye, guys. Peace out.